15 countries that tried to copy Japan, but failed. Ever wondered why some nations soar while others struggle to replicate their success? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of national ambition and the pitfalls of blindly copying another country's model. Get ready to explore 15 cases where the pursuit of Japanification went horribly wrong. Japan's post-war economic boom is legendary. From the ashes of World War II, it rose to become a global powerhouse, a technological innovator, and a cultural icon. This success story naturally attracted attention, inspiring many nations to try and replicate the Japanese miracle. But copying a complex system like a national economy and culture is far more difficult than it seems. Many countries, driven by ambition and a desire for rapid growth, attempted to emulate Japan's strategies, often with disastrous results. We'll explore why these attempts failed. The biggest mistake many countries made was focusing on surface-level similarities rather than understanding the underlying principles. They copied policies, technologies, and even cultural practices without considering their own unique context. This is like trying to transplant a tree from one climate to another without preparing the soil. True success requires adaptation and innovation, not mere imitation. A nation must understand its own strengths and weaknesses, its own cultural values, and its own unique challenges. Simply copying another country's model is a recipe for failure. South Korea, while ultimately successful, initially stumbled in its attempts to emulate Japan. Early on, they focused heavily on heavy industries, mirroring Japan's strategy. However, they lacked the necessary infrastructure and skilled workforce. This led to inefficiencies and a slower pace of development than anticipated. It wasn't until South Korea focused on its own strengths, such as electronics and technology, that it truly began to thrive. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union attempted to catch up with Japan's technological advancements. They engaged in industrial espionage and copied Japanese designs, particularly in the automotive and electronics industries. However, the Soviet Union's centrally planned economy and lack of innovation stifled their efforts. They could copy the technology, but they couldn't replicate the dynamic and competitive environment that fostered innovation in Japan. China's early economic reforms involved attracting foreign investment and focusing on manufacturing, similar to Japan's post-war strategy. This initially led to rapid growth, but it also created problems. China faced issues with pollution, labor exploitation, and a lack of innovation. It wasn't until China began investing in research and development and fostering its own technological capabilities that it truly began to compete on a global scale. India, with its large population and potential for growth, also looked to Japan for inspiration. However, India's complex bureaucracy and regulatory environment hindered its progress. While India adopted some Japanese management techniques, the lack of efficiency and transparency in its government slowed down economic development. India's unique challenges required unique solutions. Brazil attempted to emulate Japan's industrialization by implementing import substitution policies. This involved protecting domestic industries from foreign competition. However, this led to inefficiencies and a lack of innovation. Brazilian industries became complacent and failed to compete on a global scale. The lack of competition stifled growth. Argentina, once one of the wealthiest countries in the world, also attempted to emulate Japan's economic success. However, Argentina's history of economic instability and political turmoil undermined its efforts. Frequent changes in government policy and a lack of long-term planning made it difficult for Argentina to achieve sustained growth. Stability is crucial for economic development. Nigeria, with its vast natural resources, attempted to emulate Japan's industrialization. However, corruption and a lack of infrastructure hindered its progress. Corruption diverted resources away from development projects, and the lack of infrastructure made it difficult for businesses to operate efficiently. These fundamental problems needed to be addressed first. The Philippines, with its strategic location and educated workforce, also looked to Japan for inspiration. However, political instability and corruption undermined its efforts. Frequent changes in government and a lack of accountability made it difficult for the Philippines to attract foreign investment and achieve sustained growth. Political stability is essential. Indonesia, rich in natural resources, attempted to emulate Japan's industrialization. However, the resource curse hindered its progress. Indonesia became overly reliant on its natural resources, neglecting other sectors of the economy. This made it vulnerable to fluctuations in commodity prices and stifled diversification. Egypt, with its strategic location and large population, also attempted to emulate Japan's economic success. However, its authoritarian regime stifled innovation and entrepreneurship. The lack of political freedom and economic opportunity discouraged investment and hindered economic development. A free and open society is crucial for innovation. Pakistan, facing significant security challenges, attempted to emulate Japan's economic growth. However, these challenges diverted resources away from development. The ongoing conflict and instability in the region made it difficult for Pakistan to attract foreign investment and achieve sustained growth. Security is a prerequisite for economic development. Venezuela, heavily reliant on oil revenues, attempted to emulate Japan's industrialization. However, its dependence on oil made it vulnerable to price fluctuations. When oil prices fell, Venezuela's economy collapsed, and its attempts to diversify its economy failed. Diversification is crucial for long-term economic stability. Zimbabwe, once a promising economy, attempted to emulate Japan's economic success. However, mismanagement and hyperinflation destroyed its economy. The government's policies led to runaway inflation, making it impossible for businesses to operate and for people to save. Sound economic policies are essential. North Korea, isolated from the global economy, attempted to emulate Japan's industrialization. However, its isolation and lack of access to technology hindered its progress. North Korea's closed economy and lack of engagement with the outside world made it impossible for it to compete on a global scale. Openness and collaboration are crucial. Cuba, with its communist system, attempted to emulate Japan's economic success. However, its centrally planned economy stifled innovation and entrepreneurship. The lack of economic freedom and private enterprise hindered economic development. A market-based economy is generally more conducive to innovation and growth. These case studies highlight the importance of context and adaptation. Simply copying another country's model is not a recipe for success. Each nation must understand its own unique strengths and weaknesses, its own cultural values, and its own unique challenges. True success requires innovation, adaptation, and a focus on long-term sustainable development. It requires building institutions, fostering innovation, and creating a stable and predictable environment for businesses to thrive. The world is constantly changing, and the challenges facing nations are becoming increasingly complex. In the future, countries will need to be even more adaptable and innovative to succeed. They will need to invest in education, research and development, and infrastructure. They will need to foster a culture of entrepreneurship and innovation. And they will need to create a stable and predictable environment for businesses to thrive. The story of these 15 countries serves as a cautionary tale. While learning from others is valuable, blindly copying their strategies is a path to failure. Each nation must forge its own path, based on its own unique circumstances and aspirations. The key to success lies in understanding your own strengths, adapting to your own challenges, and building a future that is uniquely your own. Don't try to be Japan, be the best version of you. Did you find these stories insightful? Which country's experience surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. We also have a related video on the secrets of Japan's economic success. Click the link in the description to watch it now. Finally, consider supporting our channel through Patreon. Your contributions help us create more in-depth analyses like this one. Thanks for watching.